Hello everyone, my name is Katie Monroe, but all my friends call me Jacey. Welcome to the Parker Daniel Show. Today you will be hearing my story where I will be talking about some of my challenges living in Jamaica, my tips and tricks for getting by, a little bit about my YouTube channel, and basically what I do for a living. You're going to hear all about me, so stay tuned for today's episode.
Welcome to another edition of the Parker Daniels Show. And you can probably tell in my voice that this is going to be something very intriguing, interesting, and all the words that I can't think of at this point in time because I don't have that much time to do it. We're going to Jamaica, y'all, and talk to a young lady who goes by the name of Jacey, but she wanted me to say Katie Monroe first, but I did the latter. So with that being said, we're going to speak to her, Jacey, and talk with her about her impairment, the culture, and how there are certain things that they are allowed it, and there are things that they may not have that we have. So it's going to be a very interesting individual. I had the pleasure of speaking with Jacey on several occasions. Very charismatic female, and she also has a YouTube channel, and she's going to give you that as well. But before I delve into the interview, I want to say to my subscribers, continue to subscribe. I am very ecstatic about the subscriptions that we are getting. So as my co-host Kim Daniels, the likes, share, please comment. I know you are going to comment on this young lady here. So without further ado, I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, and we're going to get on with the interview. Now, do your thing.
Hi everyone, so it's me, it's Jacey, and I just want to quickly tell you a little bit about myself. So I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. So yeah, I'm actually Jamaican, like totally Jamaican, not half or anything like that. So let me tell you a little bit about how I became blind. And it's a pretty common story. So when I was a baby, I was premature. So I was really, really little. Like, I was 2.25 pounds. I was really small. My mom totally jokes that she could hold me like one hand. She said she could carry a baby around and like nobody would ever know because I was really that tiny. So I was premature, like really little, 2.25 pounds. That's like really small. And I had to be placed in the incubator because you know how that is. You're small, you can't breathe, you need oxygen. And so what happened was I got way too much oxygen. So like the doctors forgot to cover my eyes. They said, hey, it was an accident. We're trying to save her. We don't know what happened, but she just, she's blind. So you guys, you're going to have to like work that out. And so I've had to grow up with it. It's retinopathy of prematurity. It's when your retinas aren't fully developed, so you got too much oxygen, your eyes damaged. So now I'm totally blind. But it's not really a problem because, yeah, you totally live life, right? Yeah.
I want to interject that really, if she really hadn't said anything upon me talking with her, and I know this is the same old you wouldn't know, but really the things that she does, correct English, you probably wouldn't even think that she's totally blind because this young lady does her own editing for her videos, and me being totally blind, I was impressed. But that's not what we're here for. Continue, JC.
And so, okay, so you're totally blind. We have a school for the blind here, and I went there since I was about, I think, 3, 4, yeah, about there. I was about like 4. I went there, and I went there until I was about 12. The thing is, it's basically a school where you get all the basics. So whatever other students were learning, it was the same thing we were learning. But of course, you had a few extra programs. but for example, mobility didn't start until like grade 6. So it was late. I don't know why they started it so late, and I think part of it had to do with the school system over here. It focuses more on education rather than the actual like teaching of blindness skills. So we didn't get most of that. You don't learn a lot of that until like you get to grade 7, and I wasn't there for grade 7 because I went to mainstream. So there's this exam that you take in grade 6. It's called the GSAT examination, and what it does, it places you in a school based on your scores. It's kind of different from the American system because for one thing, the education system over here is like way more challenging, especially when it gets to high school.
Why is that? You know?
Uh Part of it has to do with, okay, so in America where you have like English literature, but you'll have like the lower classes, and then you have the honor roll like AP classes. We don't have that, so everybody takes the same class. It doesn't matter what speed you are, where you are. Everybody takes the same class. So I mean, you kind of catch up or you keep up. So there is no higher or lower level classes. Everybody kind of just, I mean, of course, when you go into the class, they kind of try to mix you based on your average. Okay, so they'll say, okay, because the high school that I went to, we had six of each classes. So basically six of each classes. So you'd have six, 7M, 7E, 7A, yeah, like that.
Mm.
And yeah, so it's six of each classes. So it's yeah, pretty frustrating. I mean, at a school for the blind, it's a small school, so being integrated into the mainstream system, it's way different. So our school system, we kind of work with the English system, so we don't wear clothes. Like we had uniforms, so I had to wear uniform like every day. I know, kind of sucks, but
Mm.
hey, I mean, American high schools is based so much on politics, the popular girl, the cheerleader, the jocks. We don't have that. Over here, everybody is, I wouldn't say equal, but there's not any of that whole wow factor. There's no high school drama like who's popular, who's not popular. I mean, we kind of just mix. There's no hype, anybody thinking, oh, I just ran off to Paris to go and do a model
Right,
shoot.
right,
And
right.
yeah, I'm so much better than you because of this or that.
Well, let me interject in terms of the visually impaired aspect. How are individuals who are blind or visually impaired, or maybe in a wheelchair or whatever, how are they treated as opposed to the regulars? And what types of services are provided over there that you all are not, or you are getting as opposed to we're getting? You follow me? It's like maybe a 3-part question, but you're bright enough to understand.
Uh, in terms of services, over here, you kind of work school. So being integrated into the mainstream system, it's way different. So our school system, we kind of work with the English system, so we don't wear clothes. Like we had uniforms, so I had to wear uniform like every day. I know, kind of sucks, but
Mm.
hey, I mean, American high schools is based so much on politics, the popular girl, the cheerleader, the jocks. We don't have that. Over here, everybody is, I wouldn't say equal, but there's not any of that whole wow factor. There's no high school drama like who's popular, who's not popular. I mean, we kind of just mix. There's no hype, anybody thinking, oh, I just ran off to Paris to go and do a model
Right,
shoot.
right,
And
right.
yeah, I'm so much better than you because of this or that.
Well, let me interject in terms of the visually impaired aspect. How are individuals who are blind or visually impaired, or maybe in a wheelchair or whatever, how are they treated as opposed to the regulars? And what types of services are provided over there that you all are not, or you are getting as opposed to we're getting? You follow me? It's like maybe a 3-part question, but you're bright enough to understand.
Uh, in terms of services, over here, you kind of work with what you have. When I was in mainstream school, and I still have it to an extent, like I had an integrated teacher, so she would visit me, and she would, ensure that I had what I needed in terms of braille paper. Because here's the thing: we have one school for the blind. So if you needed like braille paper, you would get it there. If I needed a cane or one of those just basic
Yep.
calculators, a watch
Mm.
or a clock, I got those at the Society for the Blind. But we really don't have like in America. I know that the school is supposed to pay for your gadgets if you needed a laptop or any like magnification software. You needed any of that, the school would like pay for it.
Mm.
We don't have that, so I mean,
Okay.
it's either
Okay.
your parents have
Jace,
it.
stop, stop, stop. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm gonna ask the question one more time because my dog. Okay, um, tell us about again the different tell us about again. One, two, three. Again, tell us about the different things that are offered over there or may not be offered over there that you wish that you had and what have you. Because I know that America, sometimes people tend to say that we are a bit spoiled, but just enlighten the individuals about the services in which are provided there, as you mentioned.
Well, okay, so well, Jamaica is we're kind of like slow. So I had like an integrated teacher. So when I was going to school, and to some extent I still do. So in mainstream, she'd come and she'd visit me. She'd ensure that I had what I needed. So if I needed braille paper or I needed an assignment to be transcribed from like braille to print, then I would go there. If I needed a cane or let's say one of those basic simple calculators, a clock or a watch, I go to the Society for the Blind. But when it comes to support, if I needed say a laptop or any other software, it's not you're not gonna get any Macs over here. You're not gonna get any braille note takers or braille displays or anything like that. You either have it or you don't. Your parents either have the money to pay for these things for you or they don't. There's no law that says the school has to pay for what you need. The only thing my teachers would do a bit differently is okay, they'd write on the chalkboard, they'd get someone to read for me, or they
Mm.
would like read for me, and I basically did my assignments,
Mm.
and like they would have I would take them to the school for the blind, or my integrated teacher would pick them up, and she would have someone like read and transcribe them into print so that my teachers could get them. The only thing that they do a bit differently is like they might give me a day or two. If I remember at one point I didn't have a brailler
Mm.
and like I had to borrow textbooks from like well not their textbooks. Sometimes I did have to borrow the textbooks, but most times it was their notebooks and like I copy what I needed to. I'd have to record with like a digital tape
Right.
recorder,
Right.
and then I'd have to like get someone to either transcribe them for me or type them for me, so I'd have them on a laptop to read with JAWS. But generally speaking, anything you need, it's either your parents have it or they don't have it. So there's no law that says the school has to give you anything. There's no, in terms of living, there's no social security money that comes in at the month. You either have it or you don't. I mean, jobs, it's hard to get everywhere. So over here, it's doubly so.
Mm.
And honestly, over here, like I said, it's either you catch up or you keep up. So keep up or you catch up. Basically, it's like you gotta work with what you have because there's none of that.
I like that phrase that you use, catch up or either keep up and whatever. And I want to touch on the fact that the mobility skills that you were inquiring about earlier. How did you become let's see, how were you able to be mobilized in terms of using your skills to get around? What did you do? Did they have someone to come to your house to assist you, or you had to go to a place, or what was that?
Um, when I was in grade six at the school for the blind, I got some mobility training, like enough to get by. But like I said, nobody's gonna come to your house and teach you anything. You either learn based on you teaching yourself, Or, like I said, over here, persons would be shocked because they're like, no, you can't have persons leading you around because that's wrong. But honestly, over here, you do what you have to do to survive. And there are many persons who aren't going to get that, especially when it comes to the blind. They're never going to get that because for them, it's like, no, you can't be so dependent and yada, yada, yada. But I know my situation and what I have to go through every day. So I don't think anyone should have to judge me for that.
Really? So they don't stress independency over there in Jamaica?
Let's put it like this. They stress it, but it's on a theoretical level. So they theoretically stress that you need to be independent. But when they stress it, it's more like you have to be independent because we don't want to have to take the burden of actually having to provide for you. So it's
Oh
more like
wow,
that.
that's interesting. Really. So what's the employment like over there in terms of individuals who are impaired being hired? Is it low or is it high? What's it like? Are there a lot of individuals that are getting jobs?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, like you said, employment is hard everywhere,
Right.
and I think what most persons don't know is that majority of persons who are blind live in countries like this, so we don't have the support, we don't have the resources. You do have like a few places where I know they try to kind of give you some skills, mostly like computer related skills to kind of get you a job. But everything, I mean, in terms of, especially for the blind, it's definitely not easy because you're underestimated and people just don't want to hire you because you're a liability. And I mean, it's not like in America where persons are going to go and sue. Nobody has the time for that to go and press charges. Oh, this person said something that they
Right. Right.
wanted to
Right.
tell, so they're not hiring me because I'm blind and I'm going to go press charges. No, that kind of stuff doesn't work over here. You can't really fight the system. You have to pick and choose your battles. You have to pick and choose. There's no getting around and crying and saying, oh, I'm going to go press charges because an employer wouldn't hire me because I'm blind. Nobody really cares. How far are you going to go unless you have the money to push it in court? You're on your own.
Okay.
You either, yeah.
You know, you are a very bright individual. As I mentioned, earlier. I haven't met you, but you seem to know exactly what's going on. Very astute. What are you doing as a blind person to, to affect the changes, make changes to hopefully bring? Because it seems like you have the direction, and you could be one who could set trends. What are you doing to try to change that if you can? Because it takes one person at a time.
Um, Honestly, I try my best to kind of educate persons, but then, um, when it comes down to it, let's just say I'm not exactly what they would call the typical blind person, not over here. So again, it's really kind of hard to get your message out when people just think that you're stuck up or that you're a snob or that
Mm.
you think you're better than other people. Or let's just say, okay, so you could say that I'm smart, but let's put it like this. Over here, it's kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say that it doesn't get you far because it does, but let's just say the wrong people seem to get all the attention while the smart people like me, we're kind of just thrown under the bus.
That's the same. This could end up a part two series, which we might do on a later day, because I'm quite sure you have a lot more that you want to bring to the table, but unfortunately, time is of the essence. So, with that in mind, why don't you take like a couple of minutes out and let everybody know in terms of your YouTube channel what you are doing and what you hope to get across on that.
Uh, well, in terms of my YouTube channel, so it's Skylight Braille, and what I do for now is, because it's quite a complicated setup with my YouTube channel. So for now I kind of just focus on, I do a few like iPhone demos, and I'm gonna be expanding that to give just some little tips and tricks, because I feel like we all need someone to listen, and I feel like we all need to know that we're not alone. I
Mm.
want to start doing a series where I kind of give out some tips and tricks for handling situations.
Mm.
Something that persons have really been pushing for is, they're always like, you should go into motivational speaking because
Mm.
we
That
just
that
love to hear
exactly
you talk.
exactly. So is that something in the future that you plan on doing?
Yeah, that's definitely something. I have quite a number of requests for a high school series. How was your high school experience? We want to hear all about your high school bully experiences, and we just want to know how you dealt with being bullied, how you dealt with the high school experience. So persons have definitely been asking, how do you stay so positive? How do you keep
Definitely.
it together? I could never do what you do.
So that like I said, you definitely make for a 2-part series. So with that in mind, give the name of the YouTube channel one more time because the music has jumped on and I've enjoyed the interviews. Tell them what it is again, sweetie.
So my YouTube channel is Skylights Braille, and yeah, you'll definitely give them the link to that, won't you? Of course you
Okay.
will.
So with that being said, I want to tell everyone to continue to subscribe to the Parker Daniel Show. Like, share, hit the notification bell, and you'll be able to get interviews like this. This was interesting. I let her go on and do what she had to do because this is coming from a different culture, different country, and we definitely see how the differences between the services in which we are provided as opposed to everyone else. So we're gonna bring definitely stories like this, and hopefully get back in touch with Jacey at a later date and hear which more that she has to say. And again, to continue to subscribe. Support her channel. Again, give it to him again, sweetie.
It's Skylight Braille.
Okay. And I guess that's all I had to say. But again, thank you, JC, and I will contact you in a few minutes.
No problem.
Okay. There you have it. Before I conclude, I would like to send a rest in peace to a longtime person whom I've had the ability to know, Mrs. Bearden and their family. Thank you for allowing me the chance to know you all. Love you.
Hello again, everyone. I am Katie Ann Monroe, and today you heard my story on the Parker Daniel Show. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more amazing videos. Also, feel free to keep up to date with me and check out my YouTube channel. Once again, I am Katie Ann Monroe, and you watched an episode of The Parker Daniel Show where you heard my story. Peace, be well, and God bless.